Should you prune avocado roots? Hello and welcome to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree, the channel here on YouTube where I am attempting to grow an avocado tree from seed whilst documenting the process. And along the way, we'll talk about other avocado and plant related stuff. And I've been asked this question a few times. Should you prune avocado seed roots? I encourage pruning avocado trees, young avocado trees, avocado saplings, to encourage growth. But I only ever encourage the top part. That's what the evidence suggests is the best practice, and what my experience suggests is the best practice. And I've been asked this question in the past: should you prune avocado roots? Is it going to cause them to grow faster? And my initial thought is, well, no, you shouldn't, because you're losing a lot of ability to draw up water into the plant. But I haven't actually tested it, and I haven't seen anybody do this before, so I'm going to try it. So I wouldn't usually do this because I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not expecting it to, but I have got this avocado tree in my fish tank. I've been growing it with an Avocedo, and it has got one really long root. Now, what I would usually expect to see, at least by this age, is that the root will be branching out, or it'll have developed a number of roots instead of one long one. Now, the reason why it's grown one long one, I think, is probably due to it not hitting a limit, because it's in quite a deep container, and it seems to have gone sideways with the current, which is okay. It's interesting that it's got quite a long root, it's as long as my forearm at least, and I'm curious to see what will happen if I prune it. So we're going to prune it today, and then we're going to track its progress over the next few weeks. So I've got a clean pair of scissors here, and I'm just going to take it out, and as you can see, that is quite a substantial root, and we're going to just prune it halfway along, and we'll see what happens. So I'll pick a point along here. I've pruned it, so I've pruned it back to here. This is not something I usually do, so I'm a little bit unsure of how this is going to work. So I've chopped off this much root. I don't think it's going to grow, so I'm going to discard that now, and I'm going to put this back in there, and we'll see what happens. It may die. That might have killed it. It might not have enough ability to draw water in to support all of this growth. It's growing quite aggressively at the moment, and so I'm not sure if taking away this much root mass is going to affect that in a severe way. We'll see. Another option might be that it does in fact cause it to branch out. I don't know. I'm really excited to learn. So we're going to watch it over the next month or so, and we're going to see if what I've just done, pruning it, does kill it, cause it to have stunted growth, or cause the roots to explode with new growth. I'm not sure what's going to happen, so we'll just keep an eye on it. Let's wait a week now, and we'll get an update. So it's 1 week later, and I've been a little bit surprised by what's going on. I predicted that it would really slow down the growth above the water, so of the stem and the leaves, and that it would probably then start growing more roots. But the root essentially, visibly, hasn't done anything. And we have some new growth coming out of the top, which is a bit unexpected. I'm curious to see what happens over the next week. It's been 2 weeks now, and I'm starting to notice some changes happening here. Where we saw last week, where it didn't seem to be too affected, now it really isn't looking awesome. It's got quite a lean to it. I think that's probably because the sun is that way and it's trying to get towards the sun. It's not a huge deal. I can just rotate that to fix that up, possibly. But the leaves are really not looking good. The new growth is not doing much at all, and the existing leaves are looking really droopy, as though they're not getting enough water, because I'm guessing they're not. The roots themselves are starting to grow some secondary roots, so the main root has started to put off some offshoots, but not nearly as much as we had lost just yet. I'm interested to see how things progress over the next week. It's now been 3 weeks since I've pruned this avocado root, and it's not looking great. Last week we noticed that it was starting to look pretty ordinary, and that's just continued. The roots are growing, but not at a faster rate than they were when it was just one long root, and it certainly hasn't regained that root mass yet. It is still trying to put out new leaves, but it's really struggling to do that as well, and the leaves are just looking really limp and just not very good at all. You can see I need to prune the other plants in the tank, but you can see that the leaves are just very limp compared to a healthy avocado leaf. So the things are not looking good. I'm willing to wait a little bit longer to see if anything turns around, but at this stage, things aren't looking good. I think we'll be able to make a call next week, 1 month after we pruned originally. So we'll see how we go. It's been 4 weeks. 4 weeks ago today, I pruned the root of this avocado tree and been watching it since then. And now I think it's time to draw some conclusions. Now it's not going to be totally accurate because I didn't have a blind sample where I didn't prune, although I did have the other avocado seed in there, but that still hasn't grown any shoots. So we'll see what's going on there. That's all right, it's got a lot of root growth. But I can see what's happened to this one and what I would usually expect of an avocado tree. So the roots, we noticed last time, were starting to grow out, I guess, or we're starting to get some secondary roots out of the primary root. They've continued to grow, but not very quickly and not in greater number. If we look above the water at the shoot, the leaves really don't look good. They do look quite wilted, quite shriveled. They've got low turgor pressure, and the new growth that was coming out really hasn't done anything at all, which in a young tree you would expect to be very, very rapid. So I think it's time to draw some conclusions. Should you prune avocado tree roots? No, not when you're first growing it anyway. There are instances where you should prune avocado tree roots if you're trying to keep it in a particular size pot and you're happy with the amount of upward growth that you have. Yes, that's okay to prune those roots so that it doesn't become too root bound. That's all right. There are ways to do that, and I will be doing that in the future. But when it's first growing, when it's very young, when it's trying to establish itself, pruning the roots is not going to encourage more growth, and it's only going to stunt the growth of your tree, which I probably could have predicted, but I was still keen to actually see what happened. When you prune the upward growth, so the shoot of an avocado tree, or most plants really, it essentially sends the plant into emergency mode, where it all of a sudden expends a huge amount of energy into producing new tissue, which can actually accelerate the rate of growth. So pruning a young avocado tree during the warmer months is really good for its health. But the roots, different story. It can't pull up any more water to support that upward growth. It can't support itself in whatever potting medium it is. It's in water here, so it's a little bit different, but it's out of balance, so it keeps falling over. But really, the most important thing is that it's not delivering the water and the nutrient to the rest of the plant at the rate at which roots should be. So I'm going to probably prune this top growth back a bit to hopefully balance the equilibrium between shoot and roots, and we'll just see how we go. But for now, don't prune the roots of your young avocado trees. Before planting them, while they're still in water, it's not going to end well. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and you've learned something. You've enjoyed watching this avocado tree not do very well, but that's okay. I think we can probably salvage it. It's still alive, it's growing. I think we'll get there. If you want to see more avocado content like this video, please do subscribe to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree, and I will see you next time.
Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree.